Hello, family. Welcome to Lemon Live at 5. I'm so glad that you are here with us today. What a day. Now, you guys remember the last time there was an air disaster, right? The last time there was an air disaster. My dog is sick. The last time there was an air disaster, Donald Trump blamed it on diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. And now he is saying he has the best people. He has been firing people from the FAA, hundreds of people. So days after he did that, a few weeks after the air disaster in Washington, D.C., and guess what? Another plane incident. This one is a Delta plane. It happened in Toronto, but I believe it left from Minnesota. Flight out of Minnesota carrying 80 passengers. I'm going to update you on that. But welcome to the Don Lemon Show. This is breaking news. It's not quite as tragic as you think because so far no one has died. Now we are told at this point there are critical injuries, but the critical injuries are not life-threatening. This is breaking news. Remember, that could change at any moment. So at least 8 people are injured. That's according to local authorities. One person listed in quote critical injuries, and that person with critical injuries, again, at this point it appears not to be life-threatening. This is a Delta Airlines flight out of Minnesota carrying 80 passengers and crew. Crashed while landing at Toronto's Pearson International Airport just a little over an hour ago. And of course, there's some context here because, as I said, just yesterday, 2 Americans were killed in a plane crash at Georgia's Covington Airport. In total, there have now been 8 aviation crashes or disasters or whatever you want to call them since Trump took office less than a month ago. Now, here's what we do know. This did not happen under Biden and Buttigieg. Not in this rapid a succession. Over the last 3 days, the Trump administration fired several hundred FAA employees, as I said, upending staff on a busy air travel weekend and just weeks after the January midair collision at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport. The impacted workers included personnel hired for FAA radar landing and navigational maintenance. So what is going on here? Who is he going to blame? Is he going to blame DEI again? Because you know the buck stops with him. The buck stops with the person in the White House. So thank you for streaming live with us today. We are streaming live on YouTube. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram and Facebook. And if you are joining us, if you want to watch the show, as I say, full frontal, then you need to join us on Instagram, where your comments will be up on the screen, as well as these folks who are joining us. These are our members. This is a top tier of our membership. These are Lemon Legends. They get to be on the show. They get to voice their opinion. They get to tell me how they feel. They get to agree or disagree with me. They get to tell me if they think what they think of this whole DEI mess. James Brim is here, Lemon Legend. Kim Page, a Lemon Legend. Maureen Marfell, a legend. Warren A, legend. Marina Salazar, legend. And new to this, right, Marina? We haven't seen Marina in a while, if at all. May Money's here. Andrea Denman is here as well. New. Natasha Williams and Nicole Cox. We've got the full Brady Bunch going today. So thank you all for joining us. I appreciate it. Here's the headline. Full screen to put it up now. Delta Airlines plane crash. Here it is right here. News is emerging of the Delta Airlines CRJ 900 suffering a crash landing at Toronto Pearson Airport. And as you can see, it is upside down. Upside down. Here's the video of the crash plane upside down and someone speaking about what happened. Watch.
Toronto. We just landed. Our plane crashed. It's upside down. Fire department's on site. Upside down. Everybody, most people appear to be okay. We're all getting off. Some smoke going on.
Now here's I am not a nervous flyer, but I have a very healthy respect for flying. Actually, I think, flying for humans, obviously not natural. And an airplane, something can always go wrong. Now, it is safer, they say, than driving or riding in a car. But in driving or riding in a car, I'm right near the steering wheel. I can see everything, and either I'm driving as well. So look, this is the first time ever, because I fly a lot, that I ever have thought about something happening when I got on a plane in recent years. I have not thought about it in forever until these things started happening. When I went to the Grammys, I flew to LA, I thought about it. It's like, wow, I hope this doesn't happen. Did my thing, right? When I went to New Orleans, same thing. And again, I fly a lot. And this is the first time that I have actually thought about it in years. All of this now is on Trump's watch. So it is him. Apparently, supposedly is the best people. Now, I got to show you this. But do you guys remember, all of you, the legends and everyone, during that press conference for the Washington, D.C. mid-air collision, he made fun of Pete Buttigieg, saying that he was a disaster. Now, I have been saying this did not happen under Pete Buttigieg and Joe Biden. Our new transportation secretary is Sean Duffy. This is what Sean Duffy is doing. Now, I'm not saying the man can't have a life, but this is what he's been doing while we're having virtually, I don't know, weekly, maybe plane incidences, if not daily in this country. This is what Sean Duffy did yesterday.
We're about to get on Air Force One. I got Patrick and John Paul. There's just the back end of it. Heading up to Daytona for the 500. Suit and tie, beautiful day. Hope the rain stays out. But these guys, first time Air Force One, the president is about to get here, so we're going to get on, get rolling on the Daytona. About 30-minute flight, 25-minute flight. It's going to be great. Oh, there's Patrick. He's jumping. All right, see you guys later.
Okay, so here's the thing. I think that's his kid. Look, no, I'm happy for the kids. Kids get to call on Air Force One. I'm not saying the man can't have a life, but we're in the middle of a crisis here with all of these planes happening, and that's what he's doing. Brian Tyler Cohen, who I respect a lot, who is a streamer on YouTube, etc., a liberal, very successful streamer. This is what he is saying about this. Brian Tyler Cohen saying, this is what our transportation secretary was doing yesterday as planes are crashing on a near daily basis. I cannot remember a more dangerous time to fly. And yet this reality TV anchor turned cabinet secretary is busy watching car racing. Now, he's saying, Sean Duffy says, I'm on our way to Daytona with the POTUS. There are folks who are accusing him of watching the wrong kind of vehicles because he should be focused on the ones that are in the air and not the ones that are little cars that are going around a racetrack at Daytona. So I'm concerned. I want to talk to the Lemon Legends. I want to see how you guys feel about it. Don't let me sway you. I'm going to bring in, let's see, someone, Marina Salazar. How are you? What do you think of this?
Yeah, I'm concerned. I'm also a frequent flyer. I'm a world traveler, been on every 7 continents. I travel a lot. I fly a lot. I have never, ever been concerned to fly, and I am now.
Were you concerned to fly before?
No, not ever. I'm 70 years old. I have never been afraid to fly. And now I am.
Tell me why.
Because there are just too many incidents in this short period of time. And I just don't feel, and then there's a shortage of air traffic controllers. You know as well as I do, that's a very important role in the life of a traveler. And it isn't safe. I don't feel it's safe. I'm going to hold off on booking flights until my concerns have been allayed a bit, and that's probably going to be a while.
What about, I'm going to bring in now Andrea Dinman. This whole focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI as the cause. And remember, according to them, Joe Biden was the DEI president. Kamala Harris was a DEI vice president. Pete Buttigieg was the DEI transportation secretary, yet you did not have this happening. What do you think of this focus and blame on diversity, equity, and inclusion?
I feel like this was the purpose of bringing in DEI and pushing that narrative so hard was to have a scapegoat so that there's someone that there could be blame attached to, so that when people are experiencing hardship, when they're experiencing these traumatic experiences with the flight travel, that they can look and say, well, this must be because of DEI. There can't be any other reason. It pulls people out of thinking logically and forces them to find a scapegoat so that these individuals in this administration can keep dismantling and changing things impulsively without any regard for the safety and well-being for the American people or international travelers, because we are not closed off as a country. People are flying in and out of our country all of the time, and they're putting not only their voters at risk, those that support them, but everybody that is coming in to do business with America, everyone that's coming and, sharing knowledge. As a scientist, I'm always traveling for conferences to disseminate information. So this is unsettling for me, thinking about the next conference that I have to go to. Like, I'm putting myself at risk in order to disseminate information that we as the American people need. So this is troubling.
So Kim Page, look, we don't know what, and by the way, I thank you both. I respect for your comments and for being so candid about that. Kim Page, look, we don't know what the cause of all of this is, but the timing is certainly suspicious or interesting or whatever you want to call it. You have to point out the timing, especially what's going on with the FAA. They are laying off, if they're firing hundreds of people who are in charge of some the safety in the skies. Who else is to blame? Do you think that it has anything to do, these layoffs, perhaps a skeleton staff? I'm not sure that it has to do with.
Well, I mean, it's certainly suspicious, right? I mean, they fired, I don't know how many of the air traffic controllers. We have someone who has absolutely no experience running the whole agency. I mean, it is suspect. And I was looking, I love to fly. I've never been afraid to fly, but I wouldn't fly now either. And I've been trying to look at, what are all the reasons for each one of these incidents? And you can't really tie it back to any one thing, but it's still suspicious to me.
It's really interesting because never before, Kim and others, have I heard people say, like this, I'm afraid of flying. I don't want to get on an airplane right now. Nicole, do you want to get on an airplane right now?
Well, unfortunately, Don, most of my family live, internationally, we travel by plane all the time. Now, domestically, not quite as often.
Right.
So domestic flight is not a huge thing with my family, but it is necessary because connecting flights, that's how you get out of Jacksonville. You got to connect to either Miami or Charlotte or Atlanta, a hub, and then across the sea. So yeah, it's a situation, but we don't have a choice. Like if you want to go see family and friends, you have no choice. So I see it that way. It's not going to negate the butterflies in the stomach. But there's no option unless you just say, well, I guess I won't be coming home for spring break. I guess I won't be coming home for summer. I guess there's no option. So it does put those who have no choice but to travel, whether it's for work or they would be prohibited from seeing their loved ones. What options do we have?
Well, look, you have the option to stay at home and not mean, but you want to see your family, and I certainly understand that. But again, there are a lot of folks who are having second thoughts about flying. And as I keep saying, and I hate to keep harping on this, but this did not happen under the former administration. And so, everyone wants to take credit or something when something is good, right? The economy is great, the stock market's great, or whatever, and and the Biden folks can say, look, we didn't have all these air disasters, right? We didn't have. I don't think they had a commercial one on their watch. I'm not, at least a large commercial aircraft a tragedy on their watch. There certainly were incidents, but that would lead one to believe like, hey, something is going on. As we're seeing in the gutting of these departments, when they are, what is it? They got rid of, was it, they had to hire 30 people back? Let me get my notes this morning. I have my notes here, producers. I don't need you.
The nuclear
Nuclear weapons. DOGE had to rehire nuclear weapons workers in a disastrous blunder. Nuclear weapons workers. Now, wouldn't you think after you've had these air disasters that you would say, hey, we need to slow our roll to make sure that we have enough staff members, enough people who are even backups for the backups before you start getting rid of people. And you heard the congressperson, I don't know if you heard that we had a conservative, a Republican, I think it was a congressman, or was it senator on this morning? Again, it was a congressman, I believe, who was saying all of these things that they're getting rid of may equal to 1 hour of spending or loan or whatever, or 1 day of such and such. So all of this disruption is not even worth it because there's a much more efficient and smarter way of doing it, and they are not doing it. James Brim, am I being too hard on Sean Duffy?
Yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, I have no problem with him going on a Sunday to see the races or the NASCAR, wherever he was going. I do have a problem with him going on our dime on Air Force One with the millions of dollars that we have to spend to get that plane there and the occupants there with the Secret Service and everything else. At the same time, where they're putting all these people out on the street with no jobs and losing their pensions and losing their jobs and everything else. It's ridiculous that, I think, I don't know what the number was, but between the Super Bowl and the NASCAR thing, what was it, like $10 million in taxpayer money was spent? Something crazy like that?
James Brim, you didn't see our Hot Topic show at 10, our 10 o'clock live stream, did you?
This morning, no, I did not.
James, you're saying the same thing that I'm saying. Listen, apparently, just to buzz or whatever he did, buzz the Daytona 500, the arena with the plane, and then he took the beast, his car, around the track. $25,000 in fuel, just for that.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
And I don't know how much fuel it costs more, I believe, than $25,000 in fuel to get there and back on that big a plane. But think about all the folks, James, you're right, that he has to carry with him, the Secret Service, staff members, the people who work on the planes, right? The plane staff.
Clear the airspace because Air Force One is coming through. Now all those other normal planes have to be diverted, which is confusing the air traffic controllers who are now on shorter shifts. So it's a ripple effect.
There you go. And then the traveling press. And then let's not forget, as James mentioned, just last weekend, he was at the Super Bowl. Now, he's the first sitting president to go. You don't have to go. And especially now, James, I'm with you. I don't begrudge him for going and taking his kids. That is maybe a perk of the job. But I think that these folks are always criticizing other people about optics. They slam the mayor of Los Angeles. They slam the governor of California. They slam Joe Biden for it's optics. Oh, he's sleeping. Or he's whatever about optics, except when it's them. So if you're trying to save money, if you're trying to protect resources, especially when, as James said, the air traffic there, not to mention they're going to have to hire some folks to push people away from the president so that his motorcade, those are local people that they have to pay for, resources that they're using. So if you're trying to save money and you're trying to set an example, do you spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars of taxpayer dollars just so you can be seen at the Daytona 500 and just so you can be seen at the Super Bowl? And back to the transportation secretary, when you have plane accidents happening one after the other, shouldn't you be worried?
Well, that's Obama's fault, right?
Okay.
Everything's Obama's fault. We can always just go back to Obama, done, put the pin in it, and move on.
Yeah, but
that's what comes on that.
No, it's not Obama's fault anymore. I know what you're saying. It's listen up, liberal. No, but there's this meme going around that is everything's a liberal's fault, right? So listen up, liberal. Plane crashes. Listen up, liberal. Hurricane. Listen up, liberal. So it's the same as blame Obama for everything.
But
So-
it's more than, I mean, the plane crashes, it's the whole airline industry. I just flew recently and I had 2 connections and back and forth, and it was a disaster. I mean, the connections were all delayed and everything. You know, you had that stowaway, that Russian stowaway that climbed in the wheel well or whatever and flew to Russia a couple of months ago. You remember that story?
Yeah, I do.
Was it Russia she flew to? I don't know if it was Russia she flew to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But let me
let
me say this.
We had so many problems with mechanical problems that put all 4 flights delayed.
When I'm
Oh,
using
two
delayed, it's
people
usually
back.
because of weather, and I don't have that many mechanical delays. Every once in a while, there's a computer that needs to be replaced, and they come in, they take the whole thing out, and they just drop another one in. That happens. But what do you think? Let me ask you this, Maureen Marfell. Do you think that they should be a little bit more concerned about the optics? The president and the transportation secretary, you are cutting people's jobs, putting them out of work, and yet you are taking frivolous flights to sporting events. You are in charge of air safety in this country, and you are hopping aboard Air Force One to go to the Daytona 500, if not the Super Bowl.
Oh, for sure. I've never seen a president go to the Super Bowl. It's not necessary, especially with all the things that are going on right now. I think that was crazy that the person who heads up the navigation went off to Daytona, spending all the money when they're cutting jobs. Not necessary at all.
Yeah. I wonder how the folks who are sitting at home, May Money, are feeling when they see the president in a giant Cadillac doing laps around the track on a plane that the American people are paying for, fuel, car, house. I wonder how they feel when they are those folks who are being laid off from USAID or from other federal agencies, being asked to take early retirement or being asked to take, what do you call it, a furlough, whatever it is. I wonder how they feel sitting at home watching that.
Well done. It kind of depends on what the folks sitting at home, what kind of person we're talking about here, because there could be a whole bunch of feelings. Some might be totally okay with it because they don't know no better and aren't paying attention. Some might be actually really upset. I know that there are regretful voters for this man now that, things are happening. But you asked something earlier that I wanted to answer, like, so what's going on? Nothing. That's why we have all this going on. They're not doing anything. This is purposeful incompetence, purposeful neglect, and purposeful destruction of like everything that we have built in our society. And it's like a really like direct form of violence against us. So they're doing this all on purpose. They don't care if planes are falling out the sky. Their plane's not going to fall out the sky. So I think, they're not doing a damn thing. And so that's why we're here. And the apathy, like that we were kind of talking about earlier, is like nobody's really paying attention. I don't know how people at home were feeling. Maybe some that got fired and or have some sort of or feeling some type of way. But I mean, people are happy to see him there, parading around in his little car that he's never driven before. And so I don't know. You can't ask me. I wouldn't know how they feel.
I think you've explained it perfectly. Look, people were applauding. Sabrina Hogan in the chat says Air Force One is his private jet. Now, Sabrina, I understand what you're saying. It's actually not his private jet. It is actually the American people's private jet who are loaning the private jet to him while he has the privilege bestowed upon him by the American people to be able to sit and use that private jet. This is our private jet. We pay for that jet. We pay for him to do these things. Am I right? Who is that saying? Is that James?
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
What the folks are, what they're forgetting, and I say it every day, they forget that they are public servants, that they actually work for us. They think that we and the press that they yell at in that room and treat like children, they think that they work for them. And they don't. And so somehow the American people need to get those people to understand. And I'm not saying if it's just Trump, that just happens to be who they are and what they're doing right now. But anyone who treats the American people like that, anyone who treats the press like that, they have it backwards in their heads. They are not the boss. We're the boss. And without the people electing you or hiring you to do the job, you wouldn't be there. You have it wrong. And it's so frustrating to me, Warren.
It is that, Don. And as we're talking about this, I thought about the flyover during the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl in New Orleans, it has a dome on it. And so they had these jets fly over the Superdome with a dome. I also thought about, isn't that dangerous to have military flights over populated areas like that? I live in the District of Columbia. I could see the national airport from my home, and it's like thousands of flights, and they do follow the river. But I'm saying to myself, how can this man have these military flights fly over a city, even in addition to the Air Force One? I'm saying, and then, you know, just so the crowd could see you fly by. That makes no sense to me. It's like a child with a toy. And as you said, it's the American people's plane, but yet because he wants to be king, he's doing what he wants to do. And that's unfortunate. But to me, I think that's a safety hazard somewhere. And especially with these military flights over populated entities such as the Superdome or even down the National Mall. And something has to be done about that.
Well, I tell you what it is. It takes a very small person person with a giant ego who needs, constant coddling and reinforcement about how good they are and who they are, who needs to hear applause at every single turn, when a confident person would be sitting at the White House in the West Wing doing their job. Natasha Williams.
You're thinking rationally, Don. That's the problem. I told my friends that you're thinking rationally when you make sense. So they don't understand making sense. So that's why we are in the position we're in.
Yeah. Natasha, you've been sitting by quietly, and I know that you always drop the hammer, but it's with a velvet glove. Is this at all frustrating to you? Is it par for the course?
Well, I agree with what everyone is saying. And one thing I was thinking when everyone was speaking, yes, when May Money was talking about how it's intentional, yes, because I watched a clip where Russ Boat, I forget how to say his name correctly, where he talked about, there was this video from before where he talked about bot. Okay, thank you. And he talked about causing all this strife and everything upon us. So, it's no surprise that we're going through all this. And really, I mean, we all got to do something at some point, but there's a lot of people that don't know what's going on. And like what Warren was saying about somebody like a little child, I thought about with the straws. What are you talking about? Like, why are you making a big deal about straws? So we have a real interesting situation going on here, because there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make sense. A lot of things.
You guys know why they're making the thing about straws. Do you care about straws? And people who want to find plastic straws can find them somewhere if they really want them that bad. And by the time you finish a fast food soda or whatever, it's time for that straw to go away anyways. Mm-hmm. But that is a distraction from the things like getting rid of the Department of Education, like getting rid of USAID. This is the highest tier of our membership right now. Sorry, who was that?
I'm sorry, it was me again. It was the press in the Pentagon. That just kind of slipped under a lot of people's radar.
Well, I think that I don't think that they're standing up enough. I think that they should boycott the White House. Now, someone has to cover it because they bear watching, as my brother-in-law always says, they bear watching. But I think the press should somehow be stronger. The mainstream press, who they allow into that room, they should be stronger as it relates to supporting the Associated Press, either by boycott or perhaps by asking the question for them. Hello, hello, everyone. Yes, press secretary. What's her name again? What's her name? Shoots.
Caroline
Levitt.
Caroline Levitt. Miss Levitt.
Goldilocks.
That was some shade, Nicole. So look, Ms. Levitt. I am Ms. Levitt, when she says Don Lemon from wherever, Don Lemon Show. Yes, Ms. Levitt, I'm asking this question on behalf of my colleague Jamie Wentz. I'm just making up that name at the Associated Press. The Associated Press is asking blah 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 blah. And when she goes, the Associated Press is not allowed to answer that question or ask a question in this room. Next, and then you go to the next person, CBS, and then you say the CBS person says, yes, I'm also asking a question on behalf of the Associated Press. And you keep doing it to support, but no one wants to do that. Maybe they will, but I don't know if you guys remember back in the day when Obama did something. It wasn't quite this, but I think they took the press credentials of James Rosen, who is a Fox News reporter, and every single news organization stood up and said, no, this is wrong, to a Democrat. We have the right freedom of the press. You may not like what Fox News says about you, but they are.
Obama wore a brown suit.
A tan suit. Yes.
A tan suit. Obama wore a tan suit.
Not just any Democrat, to the Black Democrat.
No, not.
To the Black
Democrat.
Whatever, but look, they stood up to him. I got to say, the press stood up because they said it was wrong. Something similar happened when Jim Acosta's press credential was taken. They weren't quite as strong, but his company stood by him. CNN and Jeff Zucker, under Jeff Zucker's leadership, he said, this is wrong. I'm standing by my anchor, by my reporter, by my chief White House correspondent. And they put pressure on the Trump White House to give him his credentials back. And they did. You have to have some leadership with balls.
And Don, you're lucky to even get them to ask a question at all after they say some old BS-ery right into their face. You were lucky to even have them be like, hey, honestly, I didn't understand what you just answered with that question. That made no sense. You don't even get that. You're lucky to even, it's crickets in the press house. I don't even know why they have the press conference anymore, because nobody even asks no questions that make any sense.
But even when you have the slightest bit of pushback, which is just sort of the gentlest or just someone following up, oh my God, it's great, they're holding to account. No, they're not. No, they're not. No one remembers the old days when Sam Donaldson would just, rattle off questions. Even back when Jake Tapper was the White House correspondent, I think it was for ABC News, they were very tough on the press secretary and the president. This is, if you're just tuning in, this is the highest tier of our membership. If you are a Lemon Legend, you get to be on the screen. You get to be a part of the show.
80,000 Jasmine trumpets. That's what we need.
Yes, stand by a second. You do not just have to sit by and watch people give you the news or watch people yell at you or insult your intelligence. And that's why we have people like Jamie Stout, who's on as well. Jamie, welcome to the program. What do you think of what I said about the press? Or you just said the Jasmine Crockett?
Listen, I am literally, I'll just go through the list. Let's say Gulf of America, Ukraine, Gaza, Canada, Mexico, Greenland, Panama, FEMA, USAID. Let's see, FBI, CIA. What do you think? What do you think I think? I feel like I'm living in a dystopian world where other people do not understand reality. And they seem to live in a world where I don't even know. To be completely honest, I can't even like compute. And I feel like that's why we're here, right? Like that's why we're here. So you tell me, Don Lemon, I check in with you every single day. So you tell me what the age is going on.
I'm telling you what's going on. I wanted to know how you feel, and you feel. Look, that is enough. If you feel it's dystopian, then you have every right to feel that way.
That's fair.
Does everybody feel that way, or am I crazy? That's what.
No.
Am I crazy?
No.
You're here and you're not alone.
No.
Please, guys.
That's right. Restrictions of funds that have already been allocated to the freaking Congress. Like they've already allocated these funds. New York City had, I think, $80 million taken out of their bank account. You really want to talk about that? Like, really? You want to address that? You want to talk about whatever our VP, like at this point, I can't even tell who's a man, who's a woman, who's a VP, but really? Like, Europe just had an emergency meeting. Why?
Scary.
Because America's gone effing off the wall. That's why. So you tell me, Don Lemon, like you know better than I do. I am just checking in. Am I crazy or am I not? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
But there are no transgenders in your bathroom. Jesus.
What did you say?
No.
Yeah, because that's what I was worried about. The 10, or actually I think it was 9 women out of hundreds of thousands of college sport athletes that were transgender. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Or maybe I want my planes to land right side up. Maybe there's that. Maybe I don't hire officers that are abroad to be number one ratted out because some people first name and last initial or like whatever it was, like whatever the heck that they did. Maybe I don't want my FBI gutted. Maybe I don't want my CIA gutted. Maybe I don't want freaking 19-year-old boys. And I'm not that old, so like I can call them boys. They are boys. Maybe I don't want them going through my Social Security, my taxes, my whatever. Like, am I crazy or is this insane? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
You're not crazy, and that's why you're here. And look, even if you felt a different way, you are welcome to voice it here because we treat people with respect, and maybe not everybody agrees with us. But we're not going to let people get away with lies and misinformation. But maybe not. I'm just saying, everyone is welcome here. I also want to welcome Anitra Cooley Watosin. Did I get that right, Anitra? Anitra, are you there? You may be
muted. I'm here. I was muted.
Anitra, so you hear Jamie's here. She's new. You're here as well. Yes. How are you feeling about what's going on in the country right now? And by the way, guys, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you hit the likes if you're watching. Make sure you subscribe and become a member. You too can get on here depending on your level of membership. Go ahead, Anitra.
It's a mess, and it's discombobulated. It's dangerous, and we're almost at the point of no return. And I think people are thinking things are regular and that we're just going to fix it with the next Democrat. But this is going to be, the damage is being done and planes falling off the sky and the weather. We have to have good leadership, clear leadership right now. We're not getting it. And everybody just keeps getting passed through and they're not competent. And I just feel like we are on a very dangerous path. And it's frightening.
Now, I want a show of hands for the Lemon Legends. And then also I want to know in the chat if you did. Did any one of you go out and protest today? Did anybody go to any protest today? No one.
I drove by one. And I honked the horn in front of Tesla.
So now, wait a minute.
No, I didn't go. Can I address that? I would love to have a group of people that are around me in California, maybe if they are lemon heads, so I wouldn't have to go alone to a protest. because I didn't feel like driving all the way to Sacramento, for instance, today. But if I had a couple of other people in the car, I'd love to go protest.
I'm a business owner and I could not, but I also probably wouldn't because it's -14 real feel in Minnesota, which is where I live. So I'm really not interested in protesting outside today. However, that being said, this is my protest because I canceled a meeting to be here with you, Don. So
Thank you. We appreciate your protest. Now, let me just say
you don't
this.
need to thank me, sir. I harassed your producers today. I didn't get the link fast enough, so I was like, "Hey guys, I canceled this meeting to be here. Can you give me the link?" And like you were, as
Yeah.
like I respect anybody that's late because I'm generally speaking like
Yeah.
often.
Hey, Don.
They're
I
great,
appreciate
great producers. Go ahead. A couple folks have their hands up. So I want everybody to get in, and then I'm gonna play some video, and I'm gonna get you guys to respond to it. Go ahead, Warren.
Yeah, Don, you asked, as I mentioned to you guys earlier, and you know I live in DC, and there's a lot going on in DC. Unfortunately for me, I was telling them prior to when we came on air, I've been through that protest thing, and I'm going to let you guys do that. I'm 74 years old, and not to say that I can't get out there, but I'm going to sit back and watch you guys how you deal with that, because I've experienced that. I was telling them I saw the whole issue of Little Rock, Arkansas on television. I saw the bombing of the church in Birmingham, Alabama. I saw all that on television. It's not that I'm not concerned with protesting, but I'm going to let you guys do that, and I'm going to watch from afar.
No, I understand that not everybody has to do the same thing. I just wonder if anybody took part in the protest. Okay, May Money. What do you want to say?
So I actually spoke about this on like my Instagram story today. Because I feel like might have a different view of protesting. I feel like it doesn't have the same like impact as it used to back in the day during the civil rights movement. I think maybe a part of that is because of social media and again, like I feel like our society is so aloof that it just doesn't have the same press impact as it does as maybe a protest has to be done differently now, and the fight is a little different as well. So I don't think it's anything wrong with protesting. I just don't think it's as effective. I think this is more effective, honestly, in spreading the information and getting people to actually realize what's going on, because you can be walking up and down the street with a sign and people don't even know what you're there for or realize what's going on just because of how aloof we are. And so I think that, I mean, maybe running the pockets of these people, that will definitely be a more effective way, hitting them in their pockets and running their pockets, or just being like this on online and social media activity, spreading information and community-based things. Protest is all good. I just don't think it quite has the bite that it did back in the day.
I'm glad somebody said it.
May Money is
I'm glad
spot
somebody
on.
said it. I'm glad somebody finally said it. I mean, I appreciate all the energy, but that's exactly what it is. It's people trying to get energy off. We're angry, we're irritated, we don't see the movement that we want to see happening, and so we want to just get up and do something. But at the end of the day, all you did was wear out your tennis shoes and get loud. A better question would have been, who joined a community group this weekend? Because I joined 3. And we're actually doing something this week. That's a better question than who marched today. Are you getting busy in your community? Who got in touch with their state representative this week? Because I got in touch with mine. Did you get in touch with yours? Okay, that's a better question. Who got in touch with a legislator this week? Because I got in touch with mine. Did you get in touch with yours? That's a better question. I'm not saying that if you want to get that energy out and you want to go ahead and get in the street, go ahead and do that. But after you do it, then get busy with the other things that are actually going to be of tangible use to the people that are living around you. And we have to be very cautious because we also know that they are waiting to see a certain demographic show up in the street so that they have an excuse to then impose martial law. They're waiting on it. They're waiting on it. That is the next step. As soon as they see the correct demographic they're looking for, they are then going to say, oh, and they're going to pull out all the stops with the gas and the rubber bullets and the real bullets and the dogs and all the things and everything that Warren saw back in the day. You're going to see it come right on back. They're waiting on that demographic. I'm going to keep that silent because y'all all know which demographic I'm talking about. So we have to be smarter about what we are talking about when we're talking about protest. There are a multiplicity of ways to protest now. We did not have access to the technological advances that we have now back in the day when they were doing this the first time.
Okay, Nicole, let me
now we can be heard around the world.
I think that there are different ways to do it. And I actually respect the people who protest because I think people should see it. I think that
yes,
but do more.
I agree with you, John. I think
the only way. It's not the only way. I'm saying, and hang on, it's not the only way. But I think if you put people's anger, you show their frustration and you show them en masse on camera, that has an effect on the lawmakers. They know that there are people who are supporting them. Maybe they are frustrated with the Trump folks and they're just afraid to say it because they're afraid they're going to get primaried or whatever it is. But they get to see that. Now, I'm going to get more comments, but let me just say, so today I'm walking back from the supermarket and to come home and I said, okay, I'll go and see what's happening with this protest. I had no choice. These are protests not far from my apartment. Watch this. If the folks in Washington, Donald Trump sees this, if Republican lawmakers see this was a big protest for something that appeared to be a policy, I don't know, but it was a giant protest that happened. Thousands and thousands and thousands. Obviously not the biggest protest I've ever seen, but there were more signs that were negative for Elon Musk than there were for Trump. People are frustrated. They thought, okay, Trump, we get it. He's elected. Elections come with consequences. But to a person, they said, we did not elect Elon Musk, and he is getting access to our personal information. Reportedly to our tax documents, they are requesting information to give them, this DOGE group, access to our personal tax information and private numbers. Okay? And so there are people who are doing that. Now, I asked them why they were out there, and this is what some of them said. Watch this.
Just in case you're on TikTok, because we're on TikTok right now too.
You are? You're live
Yes,
on TikTok.
sir.
I'm
Yes,
not on
sir.
TikTok right now. Stand
You're
by
not?
though. You guys are serious, huh?
Yes, we are.
Why?
Why? Because this horrible man that thinks he can be a toddler in chief, that can change all the things that involve our Constitution that our country is based on, should not have the unmitigated power to destroy our country.
Yeah. What do you think about it?
I think that this is what a coup looks like, and we have to stop it now, or it's going to be a lot harder to turn around. I don't know where Congress is, but I think that they need to wake up.
Congress needs to wake up, you said?
I think so.
I agree with you 100%.
They're not loud enough. They're not honest enough. Like, call a spade a spade. This is a mess. Elon Musk is going well beyond any powers he should have, and so is Donald Trump.
How many people do you think are out here?
Oh man, it starts right over here, but it goes all the way to the park still. They haven't come all the way through. So I would say easily 9,000.
That's amazing.
By an estimate, yeah.
And I hear they're in capitals or cities all over the country.
Well, they were on the 5th. We were at City Hall on the 5th, but they're also at capitals too, yeah. I mean, he's not my president, so it's not my president's day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as
Thank
well.
you. Thank you. It's cold. Why are you out here?
Why isn't everybody out here? Because the government has capitulated. The government has capitulated to a few billionaires is what it's done. The country's being raped. We're giving away all of our power just, voluntarily is what's happening. And it's really scary times for most of the country the world.
What do you want from Congress or Senate?
I want the Congress to stand up. I want them to look at the Constitution, do what they've been elected to do, be independent, have an independent voice, and represent the people, not just bow down to an individual. And certainly protect people from raping and pillaging our information, our privacy, our rights. There are no more than we're giving away our protections, not just for you and me, but for everybody else that we know.
Obviously, your ire is with what's happening with Donald Trump and Elon Musk, but how do you feel about the Democrats? What do you think they should be doing?
I mean, my ire is there's a lot of ire. What should the Democrats be doing? Being stronger, bringing guns to the right fight, and not knives, and not quibbling amongst themselves. But you know what? I get it. I'm a Democrat, so I fucking get it. There's a lot of constituencies, so it's really difficult. However, now is a crisis, and we need to really act, be very, very vocal, not mince words. And be very, very present. Don't mince words. Don't be so polite. Don't be so holy. What are you bowing down to? What sort of propriety are you trying to pretend? Like the government is still really speak your fucking mind and do it loudly. That's what I want.
Thank you.
You interviewed me a couple months ago.
Yes, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you? I mean, given the circumstances.
Yeah. Why are you here?
I'm here to save our democracy. We have an executive who's concentrating all the powers in that branch, and the legislative branch is not standing up for their powers. We already have all this money that's been approved to go to the USAID, all these other places, and Musk and Trump are trying to reallocate it, whatever, for themselves somewhere else. It's not their job.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that doesn't happen.
It's a lot of folks out here. You glad?
I'm very glad, yes.
Yeah.
So there you go. And I saw some folks saying the visuals are important. Again, as I said, I think you guys agree. Not everybody can protest, and they don't believe it's the right way to do it, but there are different ways to protest. Does it change any of your minds, or does anyone have a specific feeling about seeing those folks who are out there? What did you think of the protest?
I don't think it matters, to be completely honest. We need 1,000 Jasmine Crockett's. We don't need, in my opinion, people standing in the street. These people don't care. They do not care. If you're standing in the street, they do not care. If you're protesting, they don't care. They don't even care about the law. They don't care about Congress. They don't care about anything. They don't care about the Senate. If they were not even able to follow the law,
the judge's orders.
Right. Judge's orders. If they fire inspectors generals, if they freaking decide, let me get rid of what was it called? The people that literally ran the nuclear facilitation.
Goodness, yeah.
Really? Really, guys? Come on. They don't care. We are playing a different game. They're playing one game. We're playing checkers. They're playing chess. And we have to figure, some of us have figured it out, but we have to figure out, all of us. I'm in Minnesota, Klobuchar, Walls, love them. Y'all have to play a hard game.
Do you think they're playing hard enough? Do you think that Klobuchar and Waltz are playing hardball enough?
No, I don't think they are at all. I think they need to. I think they're being, and I love y'all, for real, but you're being babies. These guys are playing at a different level than you are. They don't play by the same rules. They don't play the same game. And I understand having morals and values and having integrity. I get it. But you have to be able to still have integrity, still follow the law, and also crush. You got to be able to manage.
Yeah.
And you're not managing. And we will lose our country if you can't do it, and you got to do it fast.
Who is that? Is that Marina?
Hi. Yeah.
Andrea.
Andrea, go ahead.
Go ahead, Andrea.
Go ahead, Andrea.
Yeah, I kind of want to touch back also on what Nicole was saying as well. I think protesting helps, but I think there's things that we can put our energy to that are going to have a more effective impact. I think the visuals of the protesting are great to kind of galvanize the spirit of people and maybe to excite and ignite the next leaders that are going to come up. But we need to be strategic about who we are backing when we are planning for these midterms that are coming up, because right now, the people that are currently in office, they are siloed. They don't care. Their person is in office. They don't care what is happening out on the streets. They don't care who is being farmed. They don't being harmed. They don't care about the farmers. They don't care about the educators. They don't care about the scientists. They don't care about anything but their own personal agenda. And being out there, the visuals to them mean nothing. But I think as we are more strategic, and as Jamie was saying, we've got to be playing the right game. We need to be 5 steps ahead, already thinking and planning about who are going to be the best candidates that we put forward. Who are we going to put our energy behind so that when we actually get out in the streets and protest, those people that we have put into office are actually going to have the backbone to do what needs to get done. That's where I think we need to be mindful. So I think our protest is going to look very differently. And I think there's a season and a time. And I think the people that are out there protesting right now, this is their season and their time to get out there, put their feet on the ground, wear out their tennis shoes. But other people are kind of sitting back, watching and being strategic and doing work behind the scenes where it needs to be done in preparation, because we just can't be sitting there sucking our thumbs wondering and waiting like what's going to happen. We have to be strategic.
Okay, so let me just say,
2 cents.
Okay, so here's the thing. Folks are saying, Devane, I want some of the other members to, and I want you guys to listen, and maybe you can respond to it. The way you communicate with those people in Congress is by protesting. Get it? Someone said, Lucky Cat Yoga says, I don't agree with her, meaning that protests don't matter. And again, we respect everyone's opinion. We're just saying there are people who have differing opinions. Yes, you got to hit them in their pocketbook, says Patsy Patsy B Mode 2024. You are right. They play dirty, says Bunny Scoggins. Okay. We need to go all in, says Ron Foster. They should have gone. People should have gone to the streets. Hang on. Let's see. She is right, saying that Crystal Ashby says speaking about you, Anitra. She is saying, I'm sorry, Bunny, not Bunny. Sorry, Jamie Stout, saying that she's right. They have their own playbook. Okay, hold on. I disagree, says Quali Whale. I disagree with protesting being a waste of time. It brings awareness. It allows the ability for others who are free to stand up to join in a fight they would be scared to do alone. Okay. Let's see. Daydream Project says they will care if we in each state recall each representative and senator in each state. Forget 2 years from now. Nah, I disagree, says Olivia Grace. Protesting and having a physical presence and being together with the same goals builds community and strengthens resolve. What message do you think DJT took from the live protest, says Limbic Clove. Every little bit helps. Let them protest. Good to see just who and how many Americans are pissed, says the VB22. So, what do you guys think of the comments? I want to know, Anitra, what say you?
I say, like that. Because we need a James Baldwin, Malcolm X type figure to come up and just say it like it is. Nobody does it anymore. We need somebody to say, look here. You say DEI, but it's a whistle for brown people. We know that. It's not a whistle. It is what it is. I'm tired of playing and mincing words. We're trying to go back to a time when people were segregated and less than. It is not progressive. It is not productive. And we're going to have to do something. And so if we go on the streets, we need to make some noise. Some noise, have a big voice. If he can do it, we can do it. Something like that, Having wishbones where backbones are required never works. Never.
This is video of protests outside of the Capitol. Let me play this, and Maureen, you can jump in. But this is outside of the Capitol, so there were folks in Washington protesting. That's a lot of folks. As someone, Limbic Love says in the thing, what message do you think DJT took from the live protest? Which is a good question, which we're discussing here. Anybody want to weigh in on that? Maureen?
Yeah, I will.
Maureen.
Yeah, that was good to see. It's a start. It's a combination of things. I tend to agree with every person in our panel today. But there's never anything wrong with going out on the streets and being with your neighbors and expressing yourself. So that's good. We need a strong leader. I agree, to get out there. And we also need to make sure other people get voted in the midterms of that belief in what we all believe. So I was happy to see that.
Yeah. So look, if you're joining us, make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the thumbs up. And just because you're a member, we want you to become a member. And our memberships are very reasonable. If you get to the top of the membership tier, which is the Legends, you get to be on. And look how much these people are expressing their opinions today, which is what we want. We want an interactive community. This is not like corporate media where you just have people preaching at you. These folks are getting on. Now, I see, Kim, you look like you are champing at the bit there. Kim, did you want to say something, or you're just reading something?
Yeah, just waiting my turn. We have to take this at every angle possible. So it's getting more people in the House of Representatives with the Florida contest we have going. But I will tell you, we need millions of people on the streets, because you know how Trump and his crowd size. So if we have millions of people out there, like we did with the Women's March, and we have leaders and we have speakers and we have this huge coordinated effort, that will make a difference, because it is the optics of us as Americans standing up and saying, hell no, this is not going to happen on our watch. And so I do believe protests matter.
So I think it was Jamie who mentioned the other people, how other folks are feeling about us. Okay, I want to show you this, because this is, I believe it was at a basketball game and a hockey game twice. I think that this was in Canada, that the national anthem, American national anthem, was booed. So that happened twice.
Not just twice.
Not just twice. Twice.
And I live in Minnesota, by the way. I'm in Minnesota. It's negative 14 degrees, or real feel negative 14 degrees. My neighbors are Canadians. There's a lot of Canadians in Minnesota, by the way. They're supportive. And I've seen on your show, Dawn, that they've been extremely supportive of you. However, no sovereign country, no sovereign nation wants an orange, and I don't even know how to say it, that human to be trying to say that they're going to take over, they're going to have 25% tariff, like whatever it is, like all of his crap is just crap. However, with sports, you can see it, right? Because I don't know if you know this or anybody knows this on elimination. Usually Canadians cheer and or sing along with our national anthem. Have you seen that? Have you guys seen that? Like generally, like I literally have seen a video of the singer, like her like a microphone cut out, Canadians, right? knew, like, they knew the words, they sang along, they cheered along with our national anthem. Guess what's happening today? Not that. EU just had a freaking emergency summit. Guess who wasn't invited? So what do you think, Dawn? You tell me. Like,
Yeah.
you tell me.
But the
Make
reason
it make sense. Make it make sense, people.
Go ahead, James.
Me?
Yeah.
I want to go back to a couple of, I'm going all the way back to May Money when she said, we have to hit him with the wallet. And if you can see this, I don't know if you can read that, but what does that say?
negative 19.56%.
Who is that?
Target.
Oh.
Okay, this is real time.
Minnesota.
This now. Okay. So, can you hear me? I don't know. All I'm seeing is you.
We got you, James.
Anitra. So 19%, their earnings are off right now. Target has always been, their earnings have never been in question for anything. So, you remember when everybody boycotted because they were taking the gay stuff off the shelf and all the that kind of stuff. That means a lot. So my point is, we hit them at the pocketbook and let his peers, his cronies, his billionaire friends say, Donald, my business is suffering because of your policy. My business is suffering because of this racism. My business is suffering because of this. My stockholders are complaining now. The Tesla, who are the Target stockholders are, I think, complaining now. And I was thrilled to see about 200 people outside of the Tesla dealer today, down with Musk, the whole bit with their signs. When I said, I saw that protest. I missed all the protesting today. I didn't even connect that it was President's Day. But the last most important thing I want to say is that, we're all bitching and moaning about all of this right now. There are kids around the world dying because they're not getting their nutrition paste in a tube because Donald Trump shut off the USAID. So we can all complain that we're not getting enough speaking time today. We're not doing this and we're not doing that. There are people around the globe dying because of these decisions. And, with putting Kennedy in and all these people have no experience, I mean, is America just Auschwitz? I mean, is he just going to let disease spread and thin the herd? And the people who have money and in the middle will drop to the bottom and the bottom is going to just fall out because they have no medicine or food or whatever? I don't know. But, I don't think it's all that far from that.
Well, listen, there are people here who are suffering as well. Okay, let me just tell you guys about what's happening in Kentucky. There are at least 11 people are dead throughout the state of Kentucky. The death toll is expected to rise following historic flooding over the weekend. Hundreds of people are displaced from their homes, and more than 14,000 people are without power in Kentucky. These are our neighbors. There are at least 300 closures of state and federal roads and more than 17,000 homes that are without access to potable water. What's more is that the governor, Andy Beshear, said during a news conference this afternoon that a snowstorm was expected in the next few days that could dump as much as 6 inches. He has urged Kentuckians to stay home and allow emergency boats, vehicles, and workers to reach people in need. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is continuing to denigrate FEMA and gut its staff and funding. You want to know how I know? Because he said it. Watch.
It was a very expensive organization that really doesn't work out very well. It hasn't. This is not the only example. So it was up to me right now. It ended right now. And I just let the state take care of the problem. I mean, you can always have problems. Let the state, if it's Florida, it's a hurricane, let Florida take care of it. They don't need FEMA to come in.
They don't need FEMA to come in. In the meantime, these people are suffering. And Kentucky is a red state. So when we tell people that the red states are going to suffer the most under all of these cuts, and they're still cheering MAGA and Trump, they haven't gotten to the found out part yet. When your state doesn't have enough money, a big enough tax base to even take care of the people in your state and your own infrastructure, that you have to get money from blue states, where are you going to get the money as a red state if there are natural disasters that happen to you?
How about the education funds?
And the education department. And Donald Trump wants to cut it when you are going to have to pay for your own education, when there's no Head Start. What are you going to do?
I have one thing to say. Denial is a hell of a drug.
It is. Jim?
Okay.
It's a hell of a drug.
So here it is, Don, because I live in Florida. Okay. So here it is. What you're dealing with when it comes to that, these people are not thinking about, they're not thinking about the education fund. They're not thinking about any of that, because the majority of the people who backed this man or backed persons who are adjacent to this man are still putting their eggs in the basket. Eggs, the price thereof. They're putting their eggs in the basket that the moves he's going to make are going to somehow cater to their personal preferences. Down this way, this base, they love this thing called private education. They love this thing called Christian education, okay? And they're pushing, they love this thing called homeschool, all right? They love that. So they are pushing for this thing called, oh yeah, pull those funds over there. They're pushing to see how they can get the federal fingers out of it so that they can maneuver things within this state to favor them personally. They're thinking very personally. They're thinking for them individually. How can I get it to favor me? They're not concerned with public school at all, because this is the Bible Belt, all right? This is beyond denial. There's something beyond denial that pushes this. When you mix faith or a likely facsimile of faith with this stuff, baby, you up against a brick wall. Because when they think that God has got their back, it's a bad thing.
Yeah, look, you're right to an extent. But just remember, not everybody can afford school choice, or not everybody can afford to send their kid to.
My dearest Don, trust me when I tell you, these are persons who they very well cannot afford it. They still back it.
Right.
This has zero to do with what they think is in their, what they know is in their bank account.
But the
this
point
has to do with what they believe is divinely going to break open for them.
But they're going to have to pay for it.
Of the finances and how the finances
there we go, Jim. Now you're understanding. And they're not concerned. This supersedes that to them. This has become cult level stuff. All right. It is a serious thing. It is a very serious thing.
Jim, go ahead. What did you say?
Me? I said there are people who are ignorant to the finances and how the schools are run, and you know, the other laws, like, you know, you all know I have a special needs child who is in, you know, she's due a free and appropriate education by the law. So the district, if we chose to go, and she did go to private school, but we chose, rather than fighting it in court and going through all the IEP process and all that, we chose to pay for it ourselves. Thank God we had the means to do that. Yeah. But a lot of families don't, and a lot of families where the English is a second language, they have no idea what the process is. They don't know what funds they're entitled to and all that stuff. So it's just going to get farther and farther behind, and we're going to have 2 classes. I just really believe that's where we're headed, 2 classes.
Well, Dawn Stone in the chat brought up something that I didn't even think about, and it's right. And it's to your point, Nicole says Florida is going to give school vouchers for all those Christian schools, because you're right.
Absolutely.
That whole thing over everything. Listen, look, I believe in the power of protest. I also believe in the power of organizing, and I also believe in the power of everyone having a say and everyone having their, differing opinions, as long as it's based in fact and reality. I'm cool with it. So I'm glad that you guys are all here, you Lemon Legends, and you all stayed around. Did anybody have anything they want to say? This is quick. I mean, like 10 seconds, not even, because we have been on here long enough, and it's time for us. You don't have to go home, but you got to get out of here. Okay. So,
I
want to say,
I'm not against protest. I said I'm not against protest. I understand that it sounded like that. What I was saying is we have other things that are more actionable that we can do. That was
Got it.
But
We
I
got it.
understand.
Nobody, but listen, no one has to
Fight,
apologize or
fight.
make an excuse. You feel what you feel, you believe what you believe, and you said what you said. So, we're cool with that. Jamie, what did you want to say?
That was Jamie.
Oh, I'm sorry, Anitra.
No,
Well, I'm getting
Jamie.
Jamie and Anitra all mixed up. Sorry, because you guys
That's
joined.
okay. I just wanted to say we just
Do I
gotta
get another
fight.
10 seconds? No.
Fight how you want to fight how you need to fight, but don't stop fighting.
All right.
Do what you got to do and speak up and carry a big stick.
All right. May Money.
All
Did you
right.
I want to see you take the lemon legends with a whiteboard, not on air necessarily, and let's just kind of free associate this on a whiteboard and come up with our own Project 2025 and a half.
All right. All right. I like that.
And then you can bring the
Can I
results
get a
onto your
second to
show,
say
but it
something,
doesn't,
please?
we're all
gotta go
freely
quick.
talking here, and
I would like to go.
do it in the evening, 8 o'clock.
Go ahead. May
Who,
Money?
me?
Yeah, go.
Yeah, I just want to say, just be very aware, you guys, that this is intentional violence against us as people, and we cannot sit around and just let them just jump us. Like, the government is jumping us from each and every direction, and we're just sitting here doing diddly squat. We really need to do something, or we are not going to make it the next 2 months. I don't even know. Didn't it only take Hitler 53 days to fuck shit up? So we got to do something.
Marina
Ron,
Salazar.
may I just say that, May Money, I absolutely agree with you. And, I think that because our democracy is being attacked on a multi-pronged level, our protest needs to be multi-pronged. And I don't think we need to wait for a million Jasmine Crockett's. I think we need to be the Jasmine Crockett we want to see.
That's right. That's right.
Wow, some consensus on the panel. Thank you guys so much. My legends. Big applause. Thank you guys. We'll see you next time. I love you. I love you all.
I think everybody should watch your interview on emerging architects of Black narratives. It was really good.
Oh, yes.
And you are one of the architects. You really
Can Warren have the last word? There he is.
And keep it going, Don.
Yeah, Don, I'm glad Maureen brought that up. I did watch that interview, and you're one of those architects, and I look up to you for that.
Yeah.
I'm
Amen.
really proud of you. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. I love you guys.
Keep it going, Don.
Thank you.
Bye.
And thank you for the new folks who are joining. I hope you can join next time. And hope we have more people next time. I love that. Wasn't that great? Those are the Lemon Legends, everyone. So let me talk to the folks who are in the chat. That was great. If you become a legend, then you get to be on the screen like that. Lemon Legends are great, Hamilton. You're right. Aren't they fantastic? So look, guys, I need you. Excuse me. We need you to hit that subscribe button. Okay, we have a goal that we want to get to for my birthday. We surpassed one. Now we got to meet the other one. So make sure you subscribe and send this to everybody you know about, because they can become a part of the great conversations that we have, and they can become a part of the Lemonation. Okay. So I want to say, I just want to shout some people out. So thank you, Nasha. It says protests are always a way to meet, strategize, and connect on a human level to see what we're in this. All noise needs to be voiced. And all avenues. And Nasia La, thank you for your generous support of independent media. It really, really does mean the world to me. So thank you for that. Welcome to the Lemonation, Liz Duarte. I appreciate you becoming part of the Lemonation. Welcome to the Lemonation, Retha, the Cake Queen. Hear me when I say this. Watch every cult documentary you can, and they will put all this shit together. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Retha always has us the Cake Queen. Let's see, who else do we have? That's Liz. Mets Girl, super effective. Thank you for your very, very generous support of independent media. It means the world to us. And this is how we stay streaming, and we're able to stay in business because of your generosity and because you want to be informed. It's more important than ever right now that you support independent media, that you support the outlets and the places where you can go to get information that is not filtered. That's no BS. It does no corporation over us telling us what to say. Lisa Dominguez became a member. Welcome. Okay, all of you. We're so happy to have so many new members, and we appreciate your love and your support. And 10 a.m. live Eastern every single day. where we have as many people, sometimes more than here on Live at 5. And we are looking at the poll that we had this morning. We should take Live at 5 and make it later. Retro Schmetro says, this is what happens when clowns are elected. Thank you for your generous support. So we were wondering if we should go later. Should we go at 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 o'clock rather than 5 o'clock? We'll see. We had a poll this morning. We may have some news for you. Okay, everyone. I love you for watching. And as I say every single day, turn the TV off.
Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.